decide what goods and services are to be produced and in what quantities. And these involve the allocation of scarce resources in relations to the compositions of the total output in the economy. That the first problems of in an economy is that what to produce and uh, what to choose the production. For example, feed productions, rice productions, or other productions, agriculture productions, or industrial productions, and what to choose the correct alternatives of the productions, and the how to allocate of scarce resources in relations to the compositions of the total productions of output in the economy. And resources are scarce, and the society has to decide about the goods to be produced: feed, cloth, roads, televisions, powers, buildings, and so on. There are more needs of the society in the economy, that and but uh, resources are limited, and how to use alternate allocation of resources to uh, take a good decision for a good production in the economy. And once the nature of goods to be produced is decided, then the quantities are to be decided, and how many tons of the feed, and how many uh, roads, how many millions of uh, how many millions of powers, and how many buildings, and how many roads, and how many industries, and what quantities, etc. And since the resources of the economy are the scarce, and the problems of the natures of goods and their quantities has to be decided on the basis of the priorities or preferences of the society. If the society gives priority to the productions of more consumers goods and now, and it will have less in the future. A higher priority on the capital goods implies the less consumer goods and now, and more in the future. When the societies are what needs of the societies, and uh, they will be produced in the economy. And when the society's needs to more the consumer goods rather than their capital goods, then the first give the first preference to the consumer goods than the capital goods. And when society's needs to countries needs to first preference to the capital goods, then to give the production first production of the capital goods than the consumer goods. And the problems can also explained with the this that is the diagrams. But now the that the consumer goods and the capital goods, there are two types of the goods: the consumer goods and the capital goods. When the suppose the economy produces the capital goods and the consumer goods, and in deciding the total output of the economy, the society has to choose the combination of the capital goods and the consumer goods, and which is keeping with its resources. And there are two types of goods: the consumer goods and the capital goods. And when the society choose the combinations of two goods, the capital goods and the consumer goods, And these the combinations that the 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 production possibilities in the societies, that the society the society lacks the resources to produce the combination of the capital goods and consumer goods. That is the important, that the production possibilities in the societies, that the society lacks the resources of the produces the combination of capital goods and the consumer goods. And when the society choose the sufficient number of the capital goods and sufficient number of the consumer goods, and which the combinations, the production possibilities, when the gives the higher level of the satisfactions, when the combination of the consumer goods and the capital goods, and the the, the societies, they have higher level of the satisfactions, and this point is the production is the good sufficient number of the production. And we can solve these problems, that what to produce and what quantities as per need of the society. And second basic problems of an economy is that how to produce these goods. And how to produce, the production is important, but how to produce these goods, these basic problems of an economy is to decide about the techniques or methods to used in order to produce the required goods. And these problems is primarily dependent upon the availability of the resources within the economy. And the techniques to be used in also depends upon the types and quantity of goods to be produced. And how to produce the goods. For producing the capital goods and large outputs, the complicated and expensive machines and techniques are required. On the other hand, the simple consumers goods and small output requires the small and less expensive machines, comparatively simple techniques. When we want to produce the capital goods, then we purchase the heavy machinery and investment in machines technology, and this is expensive. And when we want to produce the consumer goods, then so there is a less expensive techniques, use less expensive techniques. And it to be decided what goods and services are to be produced in the public sector and what goods and services in the private sector. But in the choosing between the different methods of the production, the method should be adopted which bring about in the efficient allocation of resources and increase in the overall productivity in the economy. And that this how to produce the goods, this is the main basic problems of an economy. And that we can solve these problems with that the preference of the goods, consumer goods or the capital goods, and then we use the technology or the techniques to production of the capital goods or the consumer goods with use of the innovative technology. And we can solve the problems of the how to produce these goods. And third problems of and the economy is for whom is the goods produced. And third basic problems is that to be decided is the allocation of the goods among the members of the society. Means that whom is the goods produced, and the allocation of the basic consumer goods and necessities and luxuries comforts and among the households takes place on the basis among the distribution of the national income. And these important problems of an economy, that for whom is the goods produced, and whomsoever the possess the means to buy the goods may have, then a rich person may have to a large share of the luxury goods. That is, this basic problem is that the goods are produced, but for whom and for what, uh, the goods produced for what kinds of the person, for rich person or for poor person, or for goods produced for the or middle men. And this, that a rich person may have to a large share of the luxury goods, and poor persons may have the more quantities of the basic consumers goods and services. And this problem is that the rich persons may have large share in the luxury goods, and poor person and middlemen's persons, they have more quantities in the basic consumer goods the he want needs. And then we can solve the problems in the economy when the more populations of the poor persons and middle persons, middle economic conditions persons in the countries, and then we produce the we produce more consumer goods and the basic goods for the poor and middle uh, income persons. And to the luxurious good, when we produce the some luxurious goods for the rich persons, and that we can solve these problems. And fourth problem is how efficient are the resources being utilized. This is the basic problems of an economy, that how efficiently are the resources being utilized. This is the one the important basic problems and the economy. And because having made the three, that is, the society has see whether the resources it owns are being utilized fully or not. In case the resources of the economies are lying idle, and it has to find out ways to means to the utilize them fully. And whatever countries and the societies want to the use the resources, utilize the resources fully in the for the productions. And but how to efficiently use resources for the productions, and the manpower, land or capital, and it's due to their made allocation, and the society will have to adopt the such monetary, fiscal or physical measures. And to maintain to the economic level, and that the the government or societies to use the resources, natural resources or uh, and other physical resources use efficiently for the productions, and to there the increase the production in the economy, and this solve these problems. How to use the resources, efficient resources, labor, for example, labor, land, capitals, the resources, efficient, use the resources efficiently for the productions, and the productions will be greater. And fifth basic economic problem is that, is the economy growing? The when the we use the resources efficiently in the productions, and that the the use of the resources for the growing economy and for the growing productions and growing the economy, and that is the good point for our economy. And the uh, in the economy, when the where is the now economy is the producer larger quantity of the consumers goods and the capital goods in the economy. And economies, the growth takes place through a higher rate of the capital formations, and which consist replacing the existing of the capital goods and new and more productive ones by the adopting more efficient production techniques or through innovations. When the economies, the is the economy is growing, when the economies, when the economies, the consumer goods productions, the efficient sufficiently in the economies, and the capital goods and service sectors will grow the fastest in the economy, then, and the production techniques and the innovations more use in the economy for the productions, and then economy growing the fastest, and this the production possibility curves going to upward sides, and the shows the that the more productions in the economy. And there is the all these the central problems of in the economies we have discussed, and they are interrelated and interdependent. And okay, now we can stop here. Thank you.